Got cut off and my editing quality is poor, so bear with me. All right, so last time I was talking about um, the situation like with my roommate and stuff, but basically, if people start looting, then the country will pretty much go to shit, and I think that's kind of what we're experiencing. Um, you know, I think that if people were to see this, then they would say, we're not Britain, we're not England, but it's not about that. I think what's happening is that there are certain weaknesses within the system again that are being exploited, and people are losing. America's losing right now. Whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, America's losing. I mean, the debt is going higher, interest rates are going low now. The Fed is producing like negative interest rates. So like savings accounts might be depleted by like 2021. At least like that's what I researched based on like Graham Stevens. But sure enough, I go to the bank and savings accounts are slowly their interest rates are slowly going down. Some of them were above 2% in 2019, and now those same high interest rate savings accounts are down to about 1.4 APY yield. And by 2021, they're saying that they'll be at 0% or negative. And these are the banks that people go to without all these like fees on their accounts, things of that nature. Anyway, that's about the banking industry. Um, this th- this is just I have to make this content um, because I'll see things like the Parkland shooting massacre. When that happened, now those were high school kids, so I was in college. Should have been in graduate school, even graduated by then, but these were high school kids, and the news media, they were looking at these kids and they were saying, they were snowflakes. Now, the black community was saying that this is normal in the black community and that it's only covered because it's white students. I don't even know if the black community was saying that, but that was a major point from the left. And while that might be true at some points, the problem is not, loss of life is loss of life. Nobody wants it to happen. I don't care what background you come from. So again, this is not an issue about race at all. This is about America. And I'm just going to talk about one more thing. I want to piggyback off the Great Britain thing again and just say that, I've talked to people from that country and I haven't been there, but I know I have like some family there. I talk to people from there and they tell me, the culture is totally different. You can have dialogue with your police and the police they don't want to dominate you. They don't want to, brutalize you or anything like that. The dialogue is, you can disrespect them and they will not harm you. They won't harm you. They have a different level of discipline. And I'm not saying that citizens should disrespect the police, What I'm saying is that, again, it's a part of, I know it's a part of American culture to be a certain, have a certain mentality, but when are people going to open their eyes and realize that they're being exploited? Um, Now, I'm not perfect. I'm not immune to certain tricks. There are certain times where I can definitely be deceived, and you know, I know, like in the hood, they say things like, "Well, you're just being a sucker." You know, that's what is happening with the NRA and the citizens of this country. Everybody's all concerned about the Second Amendment, but the whole point of the Second Amendment is to have citizens be ready if their government fails them. If the government's working, people shouldn't have to arm themselves. So if people are arming themselves in this country, that just tells you that we're in a bad place. And before I get off, I want to talk about one more thing. So I recently posted some content from a school, Winthrop University, and I had I had an interesting exchange. Like I said, I had been threatened on campus, and the administration acted as if they did not want to uh, give me the proper documents of what I was accused of. Also, there were certain incidents where I felt I was being harassed by a homosexual classmate. He was saying things like "call me daddy," and as a straight male, I felt weird about that because I had been getting a lot of texts from unknown numbers. So this person would not identify himself, and I went to the campus police. This was the second time I went to campus police. The first time was when somebody had tampered with my door tag, and after a fire drill. So I went to campus police twice, and what they did was they said, this will go down as like an unsolved mystery, and they said things like, we're going to play devil's advocate. I'll upload some more content on that later. But basically, some of the kids were saying things like that there was this policy of like attacking, like if they were saying like they had a gun awareness day, and that if somebody comes on campus with a gun, that they should just like attack the person. It was like hide, run, fight. That was the thing. So, and these kids were joking around about it. They were saying like, well, what are we gonna do if something like that happens? And they were talking about like ways in which they would like kill this individual. So campus police, uh, I had some dialogue go back and forth between me and one of the lieutenants for like campus police, and I said, if there's a false report on file, then there will be consequences. So immediately, what happened was is that they were like, "This is a physical threat to the school." So at that point, I had been threatened on campus. I got an administrator who is not willing to cooperate and let me support myself at all while on campus. And now I have campus police saying that this is a potential threat. So, long story short, I did end up getting the issue resolved, clarifying that I meant that I would take legal action. Now, I contacted a couple lawyers, and long story short, they were not willing to take the case. And I'll upload some more content on that as well. But pretty much what happened is that They what they did was they cornered me, and they sort of anticipated this, you know, erratic response. And I think that's really important to put out there because this was a place that was willing to see someone like me go down for political reasons, as in lose my life, literally. And that that's not okay with me to this day. But um, people, I mean, I just think that that situation is unbelievable. So that's where we're at. All right, I'm done with this one.